Happy Thursday, everyone. I am Talera and I am here with Glad, and we are here to do the reflections from the sermon on Sunday that Pastor talked about, and it was titled When We Give, and that came from Matthew chapter 6, verses 1 through 4. So I really just want to know, what was your big takeaway from the sermon on Sunday?
I really feel like that giving is built into us. It's a part of our Christ nature. It's a part of who we are, and how we walk in the image of Christ. When he came, he gave himself. He gave himself in service. He gave his virtues, his healing, and he wasn't boastful about it.
Yeah.
He walked in that way of righteousness, and he's teaching us how to do the same. And that's what I kept hearing. It's like, you know, when you're given, don't look for your reward here. Because your reward here is temporary, it's tangible.
Yeah.
But our reward should come from above, the things that are eternal. And it really struck a chord in me, and it stayed with me really strong.
Yeah. For me, I know there was a lot of times where he kept saying the approach,
Yes.
the attitude, and the appreciation. So while we're down here, you know, doing what's right, it's not necessarily that we're focused on the praise of others right now, because I don't want my praise right now. I want my praise when I get to heaven. Because if man gives me praise, then that automatically almost blocks out the praise that God will give me, or the blessings that will come from God. You know, and in that, what do you think your challenge will be with that? What Pastor talked about on Sunday.
I think, you know, sometimes we can get into so much into a place or a position, and our attitude gets focused on that place and position. And then we kind of forget about the ministry, the true ministry of why we are really here. And I have to be brought back to remembrance to that. It's like, it's not about, you know, okay, you have the ability to give, I'm going to give, I'm going to give, I'm going to give, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then I lose focus on why I am really doing that. Okay. It's about the ministry. It's about how people, how our gifts are administered, and how we need to understand that God, He's a God that keeps and holds our secrets, right?
Yeah.
He says in his word that the secret things belong to God, but the things revealed belong to us. And so when he gives us our reward, then it is revealed unto everybody at that time. But until then, you know, we get in that secret place and we give from that secret place. I think that's very important.
Can you think of a time where you actually were doing something, and not necessarily that you were wanting to get praise from somebody else, but that you were doing something and you were like, okay, well, nobody sees me? Like you felt like you were lost in the bunch almost.
There are so many different areas of my life that I can really just go at now. It's just really coming down to it. One thing I could really say is I do a lot of behind the scenes work, not really looking for praise, but just to make sure that things are ready, things are ready to go. And I feel like that is important, and in that time of preparation, I am in prayer. Like I'm really seeking to get myself lined up, to get myself right. And sometimes other bodies or persons or individuals can distract that. I don't go in as strong, or I won't pray as hard, or just thinking about, well, I don't want somebody else to be offended by how I pray or by how I go in and how I serve and so forth. So there are things that I do desire to do in secret, to do without others around, because that's the time that I have with God, that he can pour into me and prepare me for that next step and that next move. Can't always happen with people like throwing praises or whatever that they're throwing at you, and it's distracting. It's distracting to me. It's so.
That was actually my next question. I was going to ask you, when you feel that you do get praise from others, how does that affect the work that you're doing for God?
Yeah, it can affect the work, and not necessarily that they're intentional. They're intentional about messing things up. It's just there's some times where you just have to just, you're in the mode and you're in the spirit, and other people can think you got an attitude problem, but your mind and your spirit is so focused on the Lord and so focused on his word, and that you just kind of just everything else just turns into a shadow. And then, but it makes other people feel like, well, you got something going on in there. You got an attitude problem. Well, I'm going to have an attitude problem, so it just kind of disrupts the atmosphere. The enemy can take something like that and really just create a mess in a situation. And so, there are times that I just have to get completely, get where I need to get much early before things begin to happen, just so that I can make sure that I can greet my fellow brothers, my fellow sisters, in the Lord, and support and help them in whatever way that they need that support.
Yeah. So for me, it actually just happened recently. Well, last week, remember we were having choir rehearsal. We were rehearsing for Sunday, and we were singing "I Can't Give Up Now," and that's when we had our other members come in, and we were in the middle of the song. We were in it, and we were going good, and they were like, "Yes, yes," and then all of a sudden we just stopped. We were like, "Wait, what?"
We forgot what we were doing.
So we were so distracted at the praise that they were giving us that we completely forgot what we were doing. You know?
Right.
So sometimes in life, I think that happens to where other people are giving you praise and they're like, "Oh yes, you're doing such a wonderful job," and you get so lost in what they're saying that you forget the goal of what God is having you to do. So the main takeaway for me from this sermon was, don't get distracted. Sometimes we get so caught up in self and other people praising us that you completely forget of what you're doing. Was there anything else that resonated with you?
Well, appreciation.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness. Appreciation. We couldn't get here on our own. There's no way we could. We need sometimes you need somebody to help you without everybody knowing. There are people that have so much pride in this world that for them to ask for help is it's almost nearly impossible. And then they don't want people to see that they need help to be able to get to, to stand up or whatever's going on in their life. And we have to, we have to be humble about being helped, and appreciative about being helped. None of us can get here by ourselves. None of us can make it, not even millionaires. I don't care how much money. They need the consumers to buy their product in order for them to be where they are. Amongst other things. And so we need to be appreciative of being able to receive the help as well as serve and be able to help. Freely give, freely receive. I hear that term often, but I feel like that we have to appreciate that God is the one that He says, "I'm about to give you something greater than what anybody else can give you." Greater, and this thing will last forever.
All right. Well, as Pastor said, watch your attitude, watch your approach, and watch how God will appreciate you. And also, we are getting ready for our Easter program. So our Easter service, rather. And we want everyone to register as soon as possible so we can know exactly how many people will be in the house on that day. Again, if you need more information, you can go to our website page, that is graceumcarlington.org. Have a great week and